So if you saw the UMA status video, by the way, timestamps exist in case you just want to skip forward to the training itself, but as the game loads here and we get timestamps set up, yeah, if Future Jordan hasn't set the thumbnail, we are going on an RNG journey today. So, what I mean by that specifically, for those who don't know, there is a choice that you get, or, you know, to mention it here, I think I'm going for stamina, right? Yeah, after a race, there are two decisions. There's a top decision and a bottom decision, and each one of them gives you rewards. Actually, I should pull this up because I just want to be super sure of every single detail that is involved in stuff. So you might see me, that's my dirt deck for the sake of mile races as well, technically. Don't I have a second one? No, I did not, question mark? Or am I going crazy? I'm going crazy. Anywho, it's just going to be all Kita-san black during the event as well. But yeah, there's a choice you make, and it's one is always going to be stable, and the other one has variable RNG as we go into this next timestamp. Skip, please. Oh, help! Again, I go silent for the sake of timestamps from here to there, and hopefully so sometimes I talk through a timestamp, but for the most part, I think I do stay silent. But yes, there are decisions after a race, whether you win, lose, or get, you know, depending on the event, there are differences, but what isn't as different is the fact that, yeah, there's some RNG involved, so... Again, the top decision is stable, the bottom one fluctuates, especially in terms of energy. Energy is probably the thing you'll notice the most when you're picking that decision there, but I'll show you once we get into a race. Also, I might be grinding for carrots during this run, but I guess we'll find out. Nothing really good, so we're going to do recreation. And I need to do this, so I'm operating a second setup just so I can navigate to a thing. By the way, I don't remember this event. I think I wanted to choose the top option. I wanted to choose the top option. Whoops. Anywho, this is energy, so let's get something tasty. And off we go. Again, if my voice sounds different, it's because I am turning to handle a setup. So, Witscape. We don't have any Wits supports. We'll probably do that next episode, but here, on the other hand... Yeah, we'll find out. So, for example, after a G1 race, when you place first, you can pick the top option, which always removes 15 energy, gives you 45 skill points, and then gives 10 in a random stat. There is also a random chance that you get a hint for a skill. I was like, Saiyan Sky, but that's a random support card. Oh, goodness gracious, I have nothing. I guess we will take Stam. We can take power as well. We do need power. And so that's the top option. But for the bottom option, again, this is when you place first in a G1 race. Picking the bottom option has a random stat increased by 10, as is the top event. 45 skill points. But you can lose anywhere from 5. You could lose 5 energy, or you could lose 20 energy. So if we're being really liberal? If we're being very nice about the odds, we'll assume it's 50-50. And then there's also still a random chance to get a hint for a skill. But again, maybe there's some small differences here. Again, I'm just reading off of the source, in this case a site, that tells you. I don't know... Actually, no, I'm not going to say that because I can just look at something else. So, is anything different here? No. Well, kind of, but the fact that energy is the fluctuation there isn't different. So, never mind what I said earlier, to correct myself as we take a guts training here. Energy is pretty much the fluctuation. Now, you could lose a lot of energy, or you could lose not a lot of energy. Hopefully I remember to pick the bottom option, because that's what we're doing for today. And even this small little change can result in a difference between your turns, especially if it results in you being able... I was holding my breath in case I missed the 13%. Or I hit the 13% failure rate. But essentially an extra 20 energy, or losing an extra 15 energy for picking the bottom option is quite bad, as opposed to the top option where you lose the middle. So that's, again, just seeing most people that I've watched, let's just say, as we get well rested here, that's pretty good. Oh, goodness gracious. I was going to look at something, but it's not on this page, so it's fine. Again, I'm looking to the side as I'm also autopiloting here. And also, just really quickly, there is something I could talk about, but usually the other game on this channel has the videos in which I go off topic a lot. Here, I want to stick with Musume because obviously I cannot autopilot Musume as much. Oh, goodness. I guess another speed, not stamina. But yes, for example, the other example is, hey, you place 2nd to 5th in a G1 race, we'll take energy. Oh, so we'll do this too as well. So for extra training, I like sometimes, most of the time I take the top option early on in the training to also increase Director Akikawa's stats. But now that my support cards are better, I really should take the energy. My concept at least behind that is that the energy, you get more stats per energy point. Period. That's the end of the sentence. Oh, goodness. Blah, blah. Theoretically, we should have energy to spare, but if I want to be really, actually, no, we'll take the. That's TM Opera. Oh no, that's El Condor Pasta. I'm like, I haven't even inherited any of. None of my inheritors or legacies are TM Opera. I don't know why I thought. It's El Condor Pasta. Anywho, moving on. If we have A in Pace Chaser, we're gonna set ourselves to Pace Chaser for the sake of surviving here. So we should be able to win. I need to remember to also switch this back, but we get 2nd instead. So, I mean, you can still get blocked as a Pace Chaser, that's for sure. This does mean I have to waste another turn in the middle of a race, though. So, while that makes me unhappy, I mean, not much I can do. Probably should have stayed end closer then. But yeah, for the example of G1, if you place 2nd to 5th, the top option, you lose 20 energy, or energy decreases by 20. I say lose as if it's negative. But the other side of that is if you pick the bottom option, your energy could decrease by 10, or it could decrease by 30. So, yeah, anywho. And these are mostly optional races. Anywho, as I just mentioned, we can race. They're trying to give me a mile race, but I don't want that. I want a medium race. If we want to get rid of it immediately, I might grind for some carrots here and there, for no other reason than for skill points. But otherwise, yeah, we're just gonna sit here and continue training. Yeah, I should have been able to win. It's just that I got 2nd, so pain. But gotta deal with it. I guess we'll start doing wits finally. We can still get wits to level 5. Now, will we get it to 600? Probably not, but I'll do my best. And otherwise, I would also like to push my stamina to 6. Basically the same distribution. I think I've showed you at least one gold chip in which I've done so. We'll go for it, 11%. Okay, good. You can tell by the voice line as well. But yeah, 600 speed, 600 stamina, 600 power. And that's just for me, and that's primarily because I'm trying to also enable the chance to get a 3-star spark in stamina. Because I am mostly looking for stamina sparks for myself. Now, I could just inherit and make the grind easier in the way that if I borrow a guest that gives me stamina, then I don't have to spend as many turns doing a thing. I was looking at Mayano Top Gun, I was like, oh, that's right, I'm using an SR Mayano Top Gun. I keep wanting to say Mayano Top Gun. I'm so sorry to the real life and just everyone in general. But fine, we'll set ourselves to end closer and see what happens. Although, really, I could have set myself to Pace Chaser there anyway, but hey. And off we go. Finally. Since we're entering hopeful stakes at the end, so we'll pick the bottom one. How much energy did I lose? I lost 20 instead of 5. I think the debut race counts as that, right? Am I going crazy? No, I might be going crazy. Anywho, I'll play on your behalf because I'm not going to gamble there. That's too much. But anywho. Could do power, wits, bonds. And off I go. I forgot what I was talking about, so we're just gonna move on. Oh my goodness, we get no wits at all. I guess I'm just gonna rest then. Fine. I feel like somewhere in the junior year there's a race, but I'm a bit... even though my stats are relatively high for where they're at, we'll take another guts. We are gonna use do stamina training at some point, but I feel my guts is still gonna be a bit low, which is a problem I had. So again, if you noticed at the beginning of the career preparation phase, I was on my dirt deck. I was specifically training Oguri Cap primarily for mile races, not even dirt races, but it was nice because I did not get the queen. The triple crown? No, triple something. It's called something else. But essentially, there's an achievement / mission for winning 3 races, and particularly in year 2. And I think that year 2 is the only year that these races appear. So you need to win. In other words, you must get first place in Kikuka Sho, which is in early April. Yeah, I'm looking over to the side, so I am reading off my own notes. You need to win Japanese Oaks, which happens late May of year 2, and then you need to win Kikuka Sho, which at least at the earliest appears in year 2, late October. And so once you win those 3 races, you will get the triple something. It's not called Triple Crown. I feel like it's called it's triple something, but you may or may not have gotten it based on what you've been focusing on. Oh my goodness, really? We don't have anything else? Fine, we'll do Guts one more time. 150 Guts is my comfort level moving into second year. Now, after second year, I would like to have 200, 250 Guts. More if I go into long races, but usually I'm in medium races, so hey. Although I don't doubt you could be a lot lower. Did we get Focus off? Yeah, Focus off of Mayano Top Gun, right? Let's just check really quickly, because I forgot. Yeah, so Focus off of Mayano Top Gun. Anywho, so we don't need to watch these races yet. I'll watch the races pretty much at the tail end of the classic year or year 2. Period. That's the end of the sentence. Also, I'm pretty sure that actually I can do the calculation right now. I didn't pull my calculator up. Oh, there's a calculator up. Never mind. But 9,001. Oh, that's 750. 150. Well, actually, I have a 40% proc rate if my wits is up pretty much at 150. But yeah, 40% proc rate for skills, which is quite low, but at least it's not the minimum 20. Let's take energy here. The other side of this is I'm taking energy everywhere. If I didn't do that last video, we'll do it this video just to showcase what's going on. Anywho, let's actually fish for a race or 2. I do want to at least get more fans. So we're basically looking. So here, if you click on this trophy, sometimes there'll be a silhouette. That means you have not gotten the trophy yet. I'm pretty sure I'm mostly missing you. And then, yeah, OP or pre-OP grade races do not have trophies. Only G1, G2, G3. Again, this is for those who don't know. So just so I can talk about something while I'm autopiloting, pretty much. Although I shouldn't completely autopilot. That's that can be a recipe for a disaster. But as we continue onward here, I actually should have checked the other races. I don't know why I did this to myself. But there's no... Yeah, it's OP. That's Mile. Although, what is our grade? It must be B if the game is recommending it to us. Yeah, it is. So it's possible, but we do take a debuff if we decide to race in any of those races. So instead... I know I have more than a few medium races, and I obviously have several sprint races that I have yet to complete. So let's just be sure. That's Ape, that's Gold Race. Really? I have nothing else? Well... Okay, fine. I guess I will do Tokyo Yushin then. I should also check the one beneath this, but that's a sprint race, never mind. And then, is there anything in early June? It would be nice, but if not, I guess Takarazuka Kinen. Yeah, Takarazuka Kinen. So, off we go. We'll do wits again, because our speed training isn't really great. And off we go. To explain what I was doing earlier, though, calculating earlier, I was calculating the odds of a skill, how a skill determines if it will even activate before a race starts, at least to my understanding. I could be still getting it wrong, but essentially I was running the calculation in my head. It's the max of 2 numbers, one of them being 20 and the other being an equation based on wits, basically. So yeah, I know CD is currently trending for energy. And off we go. I was looking into more things, but there is a lot to wrap, at least for me to wrap my head around. I could do power, I'm just going to do speed again. We're running with the wit strat. Again, if you haven't seen the last video, or this is your first video on this channel, or at least first in the series, just know that, at least for this episode, or this video, we're running a wits strat, because this game is a wits game. If I'm following that notion. And I don't deny that that's a valid statement, a really valid statement, based on what I've experienced and seen so far, but... And if nothing else, certainly a lot, the top 10 to 20 trainers in Class 5, which is the class I'm at in Team Trial PvP, they definitely have like 900 to 1,000 wits minimum. A majority of them do. I don't know if almost all of them do, but I'd be willing to guess 80 to 90% have at least 1,000 wits specifically. But if I'm wrong, because I haven't checked in a while. So, and the grades are still fluctuating because we just went over a reset at the time of this video, so... Well, we didn't just go through, I mean, it was pretty much a few days ago, 2 to 3 days ago at the time of this recording. But, anywho. So we are going to take after school stroll. And yeah, I am sad I'm not leveling up my Hishi Amazon, which is probably what I'll either replace McQueen or Mayano Top Gun. It will probably be McQueen if I'm not going to be going into long races, because McQueen gives you a long race energy. Does she? Now I'm a little scared. Hold on, let me check that really quickly before I do this goal raise, if possible. Please, game. So career events, yeah, you get cooldown, which procs on long races. So yeah, that's all I have to say. My guts is so low. Guts are so low? Guts is so low? Guts as a stat. The stat is so low, yeah, so you would use singular there. Hey, just to kind of autopilot for a moment and go on a tangent, I do try to correct my own grammar a bit, even though I'm not really a strict grammar corrector anyway. Small things like when to use further and farther is one of the few things that I really latch onto at times. But also singular plural as well. But as we move into Kikuka Sho, we're probably going to do 2 optional races here. But before we do that, I think I already scheduled one, so really all I have to pay attention to is the turn right before summer training, which is going to be late June. I had to think again, so actually I didn't remember. But I could gamble on 10%. If for no other reason, then we have bonds here as well. No! I didn't see the spark and then go to banana. Yeah. So, so this specific event, let's just go through it really quickly for 20 seconds just so we can do it. Is it here? I thought it was here. I'm going crazy, aren't I? Oh my goodness. I thought it was here. So let's see. Yeah. So failed training. The top option lowers your mood by 1. It's probably the one you take the most. You lower your mood by 1. The train stat decreases by 5, and then you randomly can get the practice poor status. Otherwise, you could pick the bottom option here and gamble on this, pretty much the same thing. But it's probably, I think it's more guaranteed. I can't remember, but it's -1 to your -1 mood state. So going down to good for me. You lose 10 of your stat, and then you randomly get practice poor again. Or there's a random chance you get the practice perfect status. But actually, I feel like the mood decreases a lot more, so we're going to take the top one. We're not going to gamble here. That's too many turns lost if I guess wrong. We're also going to hope that we get... I think this one is max energy increase and mood? Question mark? No, just max energy increase, which is nice for us. But now we're moving into this race with a good mood, if that helps or hurts us at all. And we don't really have anything else. We could take Lucky 7, but... so, off to Tokyo Yushin we go. Again, no need to watch these races too much, even though there is merit in doing so because my guts and wits are so low. But really, all that should be happening before you even enter your first summer training, as we do get 6th here, is that you get blocked, and that might have most likely been what happened. We also ran out of stamina apparently, so that also could have meant that we just didn't proc our stamina perks, our skills. Sorry. But at the same time, I mean, could be we just... Oh, there's no way we didn't have enough stamina. Anywho. So the thing we do here is we rest once. We do Takarazuka Kinen. And if we lose Takarazuka Kinen, I lose a lot of turns here. But again, I'm doing this for fans as well. So as we get closer to getting the Curvature Professor, that's not the name, but you get what I mean. Getting our gold skill, and yeah, that gives you energy and a mood increase, so it's fine. But... yeah, let's actually take Go Home Specialist, because we're not going to get any hints for it anyway. So off we go to Takarazuka Kinen, where we could actually just lose. It will probably be mostly because of guts. So when the game complains about stamina, sometimes Tazuna does have a specific quote to complain about guts, but at times it could just be a guts problem. And in reverse, if Tazuna talks about guts, it could also just be a stamina problem. There's a very specific calculation that happens to the final spurt that has to do with your guts. You know, your guts does determine your stamina use rate at the final spurt. But since I haven't wrapped my head around the exact mechanism of the final spurt in particular in races, I'm not going to say much more because I feel it'd be misinformation as we get Etsuko's elated coverage. Is that random based on... pretty much an Etsuko proc? Anywho, let's continue onward here. Yeah, we don't really get much. So we do want to take speed. but then I probably do wits into stamina. I want to do 2 stamina, but since I did speed here, this is gonna be a little. This is gonna look a little weird. Yeah, so we're just gonna do wits for sure here. We do need it anyway, but I would also like to train stamina because my guts is gonna be too low for the next going into the next year, in my opinion. Anyway, I could just be wrong, but yeah, we're gonna see. So I can take stamina once. It's probably gonna be like 35% failure rate this next turn, but I'm gonna have to do it because I need the stamina and the guts. Around 400 to 450 stamina is where you can survive if you take 1 to 2 rare stamina skills. Specifically, I like taking 2 just to make sure that 1 can proc, but as we flip a coin here and find out, thankfully it worked out. So hey, gambler's fallacy, and by that I mean I failed a training a few turns ago. I must have a higher chance to succeed a 44%, which is not true at all. That's why it's called the gambler's fallacy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go see the video where the thumbnail says gambler's fallacy for Musume. Anywho. We get well read, so yeah, RNG's looking back up. But, yeah, we want to take this as well. For bonds and for speed and power. And this does feel good, but I never use... I probably will not use many of my wits build Musume for team trials, and I wouldn't advise anyone to do so either. Make sure you have your team trial PvP team set up to win. Although I'm not saying wits cannot win. There's certainly a lot of trainers who've pretty much built wits builds no matter the length. Although from what I see, people still distribute their stats pretty much according to the race. But again, I'm not. That's also while observing that their wits is at like 800, 900, 1000 or above. I think this one is bottom for stamina, because the other one where she's at the karaoke with McQueen is the top option for stamina. I've done a lot of gold chip trainings. Anywho, and it's not to say, oh, it's because I have a high fan count. It's because I've literally done homework on gold chips training. Which is why I also want to win Takarazuka Kinen twice. But as we move into this, my guts is still a bit low, but we should be able to win this. Because our stamina is certainly high enough for it to matter, especially since we have Go Home Specialist. I think Go Home Specialist is also doing a lot of the carrying here. On top of the fact that, yes, I did not take Vodka or Super Creek, which means I am not going to be getting, or I have a very, very, very low chance of getting a rare stamina skill during this. Unless I take cooldown or I turn Gold Chip into a Pace Chaser for the sake of the thing Gourmand. Gourmand. Is that how you pronounce it? Someone who just said they're strict about grammar anyway, although that has nothing to do with the word's pronunciation. Anywho, let's rest here. We have to rest here. I think next turn is Japan Cup, which is where a bulk of my fans come from when I am training Gold Chip in particular, but really any medium racer. Period. That's the end of the sentence. If we win, though, I pretty much can just sit pretty for the rest of the run, but I like to just go for fans here, if for no other reason, for the sake of my club. Yes, I know I'm using Biko Pegasus. I would probably even use... Actually, I should use Silent Suzuka because I can get a free skill point, or I get a skill point bonus with Silent Suzuka. The problem is, I'm pretty sure there's something that I'm missing if I don't take Biko Pegasus. If for no other reason than Biko Pegasus is coming out ahead, just at least level-wise and effect-wise. Biko Pegasus, or at least my Biko Pegasus's main fault right now, or at least being at level 40 and below, is that you don't have initial friendship bonus, which means, yeah, you're starting at 0. So that hurts a lot. But if I scout another Biko Pegasus card, support card, then I'll be sitting pretty. Oh, goodness, I got so good. There's still a lot of fans, but it's not as much as if I won first, so... pain. Well, anywho, moving on with life. So I said I was going to start watching races. Let's do... hopefully I didn't take a top option on accident. If I did, I really don't remember. I'm really autopiloting right now. Anywho, so we'll watch this goal race just to see what happens. We'll take the stamina training because there's so many bonds here. Really 3.5 because I count the director and the reporter as half of a bond, as I've said before. But as the school defense squad lowers Gold Chip's mood, I don't think there's really anything for me to take at the moment. Yeah, because I already took focus. Not that I needed it, but There isn't much else. I used to usually take Coast Clear. I'm doing a little experiment, basically. It's the turtle. Anywho, we'll go into this long race. I could have started taking cooldown for the long goal races, but I shouldn't need it. If I do, pain. Also, I ate something hefty shortly before this recording, so my body. Also, my wits is a bit low. So, or gold chip's wits, if you're being more accurate. But yeah, let's see what happens here, because it's gonna be really, really painful. Out of curiosity, now I'm just gonna check while the screen is loading really quickly here. But if I check for, because I'm just seeing basically Narita Taishin. But that's the wrong Narita Taishin. Oh, she is slated to come. And actually, isn't she here now? I'm going crazy. I'm going absolutely insane. Anywho, I must have been thinking. I think I was also looking at Meisho Doto, because if you didn't know, if you didn't see the second Uma status episode, I scouted another Meisho Doto support card, which kind of made me sad because I already have that max uncapped, and as we get a late start, because you can get a late start with focus still, as odd as that may sound to say, but I think it's like a very low chance because of the way that the late start functions. It increases basically the reaction time, I'll paraphrase, but it doesn't guarantee no late starts like concentration does. When concentration procs, I'm pretty sure of that. Anywho, I think if nothing else, it's a very near 0% chance for you to get a late start with concentration. I can't remember which it is. Anywho. No, I did a thing in real life. Now I'm just a little sad. I'm going to take a sip of water as we sit here waiting. We could get blocked here. We look we're at least, I think we're on the outside. No, we're in the inside. I'm going crazy. The way you can tell that is you associate the top here. So literally the top of the positioning of any girl here is, I think, the outside? No, I'm going crazy. The further top a number is, the more inside your Uma Musume is. The further down, because there is, you can basically look at how they're positioned in the race based on their positions in this UI up here. So the lower down they are, the more on the outside they are. Maybe it's in the reverse because I keep forgetting, but I feel like, yeah. So, am I going crazy? I might be going crazy. Basically, the UI tells you a lot, in my opinion. And what it tells me right here is that we could be getting blocked here. It's not impossible to break out. You'll be surprised to see how the lane changes and breaking out can happen. Unless you're completely surrounded like I currently am, or Goldchip currently is right now, but you can slip past Uma Musume or fall behind Uma Musume based on things, but we're definitely stuck at the moment, so unless we accelerate right here, we are going to lose this race. Oh, we definitely look stuck though, by the way. So, as Grass Wonder is the one who pulls up ahead instead of us, funny enough, I do want to clock this one instead of just get 5th or 3rd and just move on with life, so as we move on here, oh, we got 3rd. Well, don't think we're gonna get to clock because that's a passing grade. So, hey. But then at least I don't have to use a clock, so I'll look at the bright side of things here. But yeah, I was looking at Uma Musume's schedules and when to be released, which is gonna be a bit odd for me because I'm pretty much not gonna be actively scouting for Uma Musume, at least by using carrots, for quite a while. Depending on, let's just say, this Halloween, I'm still going to be going into support cards heavily. Now, obviously, they do give the game does give you free scouts a day during certain periods, but unless I get really, really lucky, I'm basically not going to get anyone new for a long while. End of sentence. I feel like there was a G1 race early in the senior year. Now I need to check. I'm pretty sure it's not immediately at the start of the year, though, especially as we get raffle time here. I would like that to have been a thing, which I think that's 10%. 10% chance for Curry, 3% chance for Onsen ticket. But I pretty much treat it as near 15%. But anywho, I could also go for a trophy I don't have. For example, the, Kyoto Kinen here, which I probably will go for. Basically, if I get all the trophies that I'm missing right now, I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, if I go for all trophies I'm missing before the event ends, I can probably get a I can get close to 200, but I definitely can get another 1 or 2 10 scouts. So we'll schedule this race, but also keep an eye out for, I think Osaka High. Yeah, Osaka High, and then into. I think there's another G1 race before Takarazuka Kinen, but I'm always going crazy. Anyway, let's start increasing our wits again. And off we go. Although, all things considered, if I were really serious about making my gold ship a long-distance race for a team trial, I would just be heavily going into stamina and staying at 500 to 600 speed. And I need to stay at 5. I specifically mentioned that threshold because without 500 to 600 speed, you could still lose URA Finals. But I don't know that for sure because I haven't. It's been a long time since I used the high stamina run. I can't remember because the last time. Oh, that's something to talk about. I need to remember that off my head. I'm speaking vaguely here, but just trust for the moment. We'll skip to the last spurt. But now I forgot. Oh yeah, so I think the highest I've gone during a URA final, and technically another scenario, is 1100 stamina, and that did not work out too well for me. I think my speed was at 450 though. And boy, that I did max clock that run. But aside from that, again, I personally like to have my speed at least at minimum 550 for URA finals, if I'm going to go gung-ho into stamina for the sake of team trial races. Period. That's the end of the sentence. But we should be able to win here. There's a generic front runner, which we should be able to pass. Now, is anyone going to come up from behind us? Probably not. I could skip this here, but for the sake of the final spurt, we'll stay here. If for no other reason than for future Jordan to fish for thumbnail pictures. But, yeah, that's something I can also talk about really quickly. So, yeah, for the thumbnails, I am essentially just using my own recording, moments in my own recording, to make the thumbnail. Period. That's the end of that sentence as well. But I really should have written down what I was. Yeah, so each G2 race is 50 carats, and each G3 trophy, G2 trophy is 50 carats, G3 trophy is 30, and I think G1 is 100, if I recall, but I already have all the G1 trophies at this point, so really, I know I have for sure at least 900 carats worth of G3 trophies that I can get. There are a few more G2s, I think, including the one I just did, so yeah. But we definitely... Osaka High isn't here yet, so I don't need to check. I really need to remember these specific dates, though, if nothing else. That would probably be good to do. But as we get a Super Creek event, unfortunately, you cannot get Swingy Major. I've never seen linked events continue off of randomization. I don't know if that's possible, but just to mention it. We're going to take this, by the way. It's too juicy to pass up. Although, I am really gung-ho about fans, because, again, for those who don't know, I'm close to 10 million fans for Gold Chip. Which you should have, within 2 to 3 weeks, you definitely could have gotten 10 million fans. And that's without using too many, pretty much, TP items. Let me just see if we're, yeah, Osaka High is this turn, so we'll take it. This is also for Sparks and for the Inheritance Aptitude, question mark? I don't know what to say there. Oh, should be able to win this. Okay, good. This, yeah, basically for legacies. Legacies are another reason why I am doing these races over and over and over again. That's the end of that sentence. Are we gonna? Oh, we rolled high on energy. Help. But if nothing else, it does grant me skill points. It grants you goodies, fans, so on and so forth. So that's nice as well. But as we continue onward here, also, yeah, so for veteran players, especially as I get a long aptitude up, for veteran players, you might notice, yeah, my Mayano Top Gun SR is at 34. With 35, we would have been a lot better. For those who don't know the reason why, as we go into FanFest here and let the event play out in the back, you get skill point bonus here, which, yeah, would be nice. So, skill point bonus every time you train with Mayano Top Gun, or Silent Suzuka if you have Silent Suzuka uncapped to that amount. But we're going to rest here. I would normally do wits. We got well rested, but I'll take it. And funny enough, we did not... I don't think we got a single sleep deprived yet as we get a drink and get stamina. And rally. But we'll move on here. Professor of Curvature. And did we take Go Home Specialist? We did. Now, if we could get the... breath of fresh air from Director Akikawa's event, that would be nice as well. That would make me feel a lot better. Again, the main reason why I pretty much overstacked on skills, primarily, is because, and specifically recovery skills, is because I bet against myself, basically. So I bet that the skill will not proc, so that's why having 2 skills makes it more likely for you to proc at least one of them. So that's kind of my... That's half of the times that's my theory behind, or my strategy behind the builds I do. I just play ultra safe. For example, so I'll give you a freebie here in case anyone, like, for some reason wants to sweat against my Musume, but I'll likely also add in more energy than I need in fear of getting debuffed. Now, if you get debuffed, it's likely not going to matter anyway, no matter how much, unless you go over on your stamina requirements. But it doesn't hurt, basically. It doesn't hurt. Put more heart into it, and more stamina. No power. Either way, I want stamina and power. That's what I want. Isn't there another G1 race here? I thought there was. Not in Victoria Mile. It would be something else here. No. So we don't have it this year. It would be just Takarazuka Kinen, which is already scheduled for us, so hey. We'll just do anything else. Probably should just do the thingy here. Although for doing medium races, I would also like to just take Guts here as well, so we'll take it. Now the next question is, will I get 1200 speed? I don't want to do that, but we're doing it just to follow the Wits strat. Again, though, speed is pretty much the foundation of any Musume and any strategy, whether you're box cheating all the way or you're gold shipping your way. You want one or the other. That being said, we're probably just going to do speed here to also push Biko Pegasus to Orange Bond so we can proc rainbows. And if we get 100 speed rainbow turn, then hey, you'll see it at least in this video as well. Because I showcased that in the Uma status video episode 2. Or part 2 of July, as Goldship gets into big trouble and gets her mood lowered. I clicked out of the game for some reason, but yeah, funny enough, with all the races I'm taking, I do slowly run out of skill. Yeah, I'll take another stamina skill. I'll follow my own. I'll walk my talk and take extra stamina skills. I probably don't need them. I assume if I were to guess and or assume. Most veteran trainers will tell you to take basically the minimum amount. In this case, probably just 1 rare stamina skill if you're following this specific strategy, I feel. But if I'm wrong about that, please correct me, any veteran trainer. That's the end of the sentence. On top of the fact that, again, in the Uma status video of July 2025 part 2, I do mention... Oh, we can... Do I want to get... We're doing this. We're doing it. Don't hurt me! No! I can get rid of that. Again, I have the skill points here. It's not like I want to go too crazy with all of my skills, even though we are... I'm doing my air quotes with my fingers in real life. We're quote-unquote running a Wits strat build, even though our Wits is only at 321 in our summer of year 3. That being said, we're not at great mood, so I'm a bit sad about that as well. So, funny enough... Wow, this is really... Okay, fine, we'll do a Guts training here then. And I guess preferably I want to do a good speed training and a good stamina training. That's all I'm asking for. At some point we do a Wits in between, just so we don't explode, but... Yeah, this is the turn. So this is Wits training, then the next training is either going to be speed or stamina, and then the last... turn of training is going to be the opposite. Now, we didn't get a lot of speed training procs. I'm pretty sure I can push 80 to 90 plus speed. Yeah, because of 4 speeds, but they would all have to proc there, so that's not what happened. So I'll take this instead, unless we fail this. I think that was 8% failure rate, right? I'm sitting a bit far back, but either way, we'll split watermelons and increase our power. I also just increased the brightness, and now my eyes! Take the Guts. I think this, out of curiosity, I'm going to take Guts. Who am I kidding? And I'm going to take a sip of water, so excuse me for about 5 to 10 seconds. That was more than a sip of water, but... Anywho, as we get gourmand here, I could change Goldship to Pace Chaser. That would just, take my stamina use in races. Even though it doesn't matter. We have 500. This is more... If you're running the Wits strat, and you're running medium races, this is too much stamina. Because theoretically, you should have at least 2, or the equivalent of 2 rare stamina skills at this point. But I've done what I've done. We're also fishing for a mood increase, because that would help out with stat increase. I'm losing a lot of stats by not being at great mood, essentially. Which I probably will do if this next turn looks really bad training-wise. Because if nothing else, maybe we get a walk and we get energy as well. Or I could do Claw Machine, because I think one more Claw Machine will push me to 30 for the mission. Just to explain what I mean by that. Fine, we'll take stamina. So there are missions to do the Claw Machine, and you can proc the Claw Machine event by taking Recreation, I think starting your Classic year. And yeah, at 30 there's another milestone, and I think it's carrots as well. But anywho, actually, that's right, we have gate kept, so let's get rid of that. That resets you down to lose focus? I didn't know that. Well, that's interesting. Unless I never took it. No, I took it. I remember procking focus. Anywho. Well, let me know if I'm going crazy, unless you just want to reaffirm the actual situation. But I feel like I took... You lose focus for getting gate kept there? Oh my goodness. Anywho. Punished for winning Takarazuka Kinen twice. Anywho. Yeah, we should be able to win all of our races at this point. URA looks a little iffy, but it's nothing we can't clock. I say we have about an 85% chance of winning URA Finals if I have the stats that I usually call out for myself. Particularly as we let this run 600 speed, 600 stamina, 600 power, 300 guts, 400 wits. And the wits is more for skill procs, but skill procs are also important, so... oh my goodness, I did the thing on the side. Anywho. So the funny thing here is that we are not going to hit 1200 speed because we did not do enough speed trainings that were very efficient. So that makes me really, 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 really sad. Yeah. And I want to do this next, I want to do the Japan Cup again, so... We're certainly not hitting speed, but again, if we can get to 600 power, 600 stamina... Preferably more, I would not be too angry, but... So, yeah, with 400, I mean, there's a literal number... Oh, migraine blues, really? Things. The migraine blues really threw me off for a second. So let me see. 20 minus 72... Yeah, so we have a 77.5% chance of proccing... Of a skill having a chance to, or... Basically saying, hey, I can activate during this race as Gold Chip punches us in the face. So yeah. And that is, I mean, especially if you're relying on a skill to proc to win, which isn't always the case. I think most of the time, most trainers have the stats to win. The skills are a nice bonus, or they certainly help. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that they're insignificant. They're definitely significant. But yeah, so if we take stamina here, we can focus on speed after. The problem is I still don't think we can get to 1200 speed unless we hit every single good friend. If there's all the friendship training in the world happening during the URA Finals, in which I have to rest twice anyway, so it's gonna get tight if we are lucky enough to get the friendship trainings. But if we're not, I'm pretty sure we don't hit it anyway. Actually, I'm calculating it in my mind. I don't think we can. I'm just gonna grab focus again. And, I mean, I shouldn't really grab anything else. We're end closer, so I won't deny that focus may not be as useful. Although, at the same, I would argue back that not having focus and getting a late start can cause you to become blocked even as an end closer, because then you have to RNG navigate. I feel navigating is much harder with the late start. A lot more so than, near non-negligible. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Again, at this point, I would have to go into a deep dive as to how bad it is for end closers to get a late start, or not, or use focus, or both, really, if I want to do homework. But as we move on here, with good RNG, we pretty much are going to get 51 stats in particular, over the course of URA Finals. So that's part of where my calculations are coming from, and assuming you get 80 speed in for every 2 turns of training, because we need a rest. Yeah, we can't hit 1200 speed. That's the end of the sentence. In fact, well, this is the turn I needed to rest anyway. Don't get me sleep deprived. As long as it's not sleep deprived, I'm happy. And then we enter URA Finals. We should be able to win the qualifier and the semifinals comfortably. Although we can still lose them. You always have a non-zero chance non-0% chance of losing, unless maybe you have all of your stats boosted up towards the sky. But with that not being the case, it's I would say like 1 to 2% chance of losing, even if your stats are really, really high, because you can just get blocked. And when you're blocked, your stats basically become those of whoever's in front of you until you can pass them. So, anywho. Are you going to give me a good speed training? No, so I guess we just do anything else instead. We'll do wits for the sake of wits. Although I really should have taken speed there. Overall, my point total is lower because of that, but meh. So let's make sure we're not missing anything. I don't think there's much else to take. I mean, there's a lot I could still take. But not really I would really want. So you know what? We'll just go with the navigation skills. I think, so this one is 5, the next one is 10. I assume that's degrees, question mark? Well, what the game considers degrees? But I could be wrong. Again, this is navigation isn't something I looked heavily into. I just know a bit of its, paraphrasing how it works. By the way, is it snowing right now? It is snowing. Anywho. Snowing in the game. Not in real life, because everyone should be in the summertime, and that would, unless you're living in a wintry place. So, oh noes, I mean, I revealed that I'm not living in one of those areas, but, anywho. That's interesting. I guess wits for finals, then, if the game really doesn't want to give me anything else. So... though I still would rather have 600 stamina, 600 power, as opposed to 1200 speed, and pretty much no stamina. You can get power to 600 easily if you focus speed anyway, but my little nuance here is that I like increasing stamina to 600. I was supposed to take navigation here. Because keeping in mind, again, I think in a vacuum this does help. I think this does actually have a good effect, even outside of team trial races. But again, I could be... I feel like I'm wrong about that. Based on every source that I trust saying otherwise. But again, I have to look at the exact mechanics of navigation and field of vision again. But we'll watch this URA Finals race. Just to see what happens. Because even if I get blocked, I mean, I could just say that I was unlucky enough to get blocked and be sad about things. I'm looking over to the side, just trying to go through things. But... I mean, I have it still up right here, so that's not it. Nope. I'm going crazy. Vision. No, that's if an Musume's vision is visible. Yeah, that loading screen was long, by the way. But I'll let this play out as well, just so I can take a look here. So I'm going to move my mic so it moves with my mouth. But... let's see, Uma's visible, and you need vision to Uma's, because that can be a requirement for skills to proc. Now, what I'm really looking for is if there's something else. Really, it only happens 3 things, and that doesn't matter either. So, I'm looking for something very specific instead. And it's none of these mechanics, so I am going absolutely crazy. So, I think what I can do... as I hear skills proc left, right, and center. I think you do want the coast is clear earlier on, but let's see here. I mean, the argument back, and it is a valid argument against my own saying that navigational skills are better than they seem, is that it's RNG anyway, so even if your Musume sees a better route at the moment, the race is so variable, so to say, that it could quickly become a bad situation in case and you get blocked, unless there's something else that happens. But that's what I'm curious about. So, as we do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, rare skills. What is this called specifically? Move, field, view. If I search for view, what do I get? We look okay at the moment, but let's see what happens. No, that's nowhere in here as well. So, well, I guess that's not covered on this page, which is interesting to me. But we can look for this. Blocking, yeah, blocking. Uma speed is between this and this of the speed and Uma Musume in front. I hear something proccing again, and watch me, this would be content. Like, if I took the coast is clear and I proceed to not break out, which seems to be what's happening. But thankfully we're on the outside at the moment, so that's fine too. We should be able to accelerate. It's possible to win here, but I'm going to take a quick look away just to look at something, which we don't get. Then I'm going to look back at, yeah, if anything, Gold Chip is going to come from the corner, very corner, because she's on the outside lane. I think she's in front too. Nope, it's Vodka. Well, hey, I guess navigational skills don't matter, at least in the environment of URA Finals, which is normally what veteran trainers will tell you anyway. Taking navigational skills pretty much useless during the scenario mode as a whole, but we'll do this again. Basically, it looked bad. I think, funny enough, with more guts, we probably would have won. Wait, how much? No, I'm going crazy. We got blocked. we got blocked, so that's that. Although an extra 50 to 100 power would have helped out as well, I feel. But again, that's just based on how I feel. That's literally a trust me bro statement. So as we get a late start there and we don't get focus at all because 400 wits doesn't mean anything. So let's see here, yeah. So again, yeah, skills need to pass a check before the race, which is based off of your base wisdom. And then during the race, the requirements need to be met before they can possibly, you know, activate, because they have their own requirements as well. So, hey. And there's something else I wanted to say, but I don't think I'll say what I have in my head, because I don't think it's right. Anywho. So, let us see. Uma is considered surrounded if for all three of the following directions another Uma can be found. Same Uma Musume can fulfill more than one direction, as odd as that might sound. So, yeah, there's not much else to say on that. Basically, what you see is likely what's actually happening. It's something that I've mentioned before, and we are a little blocked here. We can still squeeze through, but it's gonna be odd. So, yeah. I don't see it often, though, but it can happen, as we're seeing right now. So, if Gold Chip breaks towards the outside, I will feel a lot more comfortable. If she doesn't, it's still possible to break from the inside. But you'll usually see them like move towards the outside anyway from the inside. So they'll move from the inner lane to the middle lane, they'll move from the middle lane to the outer lane, and as you see right here, we are still kind of blocked, but again, you'll be surprised to see where Uma Musume can squeeze through, as we're squeezing through right there. Now, are we going to pass Air Groove here, is the question. Yeah, we should be able to, with all these skills proccing. That will make me a lot more, that makes me a lot happier, especially as we win first here. So as we get drop kicked here, yeah, URA Finals, Wits build. Even though it wasn't really Wits build, it's more like Wits strat. And by that I mean just rest in Wits and increase speed. And then use Summered for any supplements as you reach the later part of the run. In the early parts of the run, you can take, you can take a few other trainings aside from speed and Wits here and there. But when you're in the meat of the run, unless you get unless like all five of your support cards land in Guts, then yeah, you do Guts. But otherwise, you do Speed and Wits as well. So as we go on another journey with Gold Chip, I think we might be 2 runs away from 10 million fans, but soon I'll have the title and it'll be shiny and it'll be new. But I think we're pretty close. With 400,000 fans, we are very close. And I don't know what to do with this Gold Chip. I can either take a green skill or I can take another yellow skill. Well, we'll take a green skill for RNG's sake. Spring! But otherwise, crossing my fingers for another inspiration. I have done quite a few 600 runs. Now, it would be nice to get 1200 in stamina, 1200 power, but that's not going to happen. So, gotta hope for the 3-star spark instead from 600 minimum. We did get stamina, we get end closer. I feel like I have a gold chip like this, but I don't think the gold chip that I have 2 stamina, 2 end closer in has URA Finale. So this is a very good gold chip for me. But for other people, you likely already have a 3-star in power and possibly stamina. But a lot of trainers that I've looked at don't actually increase stamina that much, so shrug, I'll do my best. And yeah, we are literally 1 run off, unless I do a very terrible gold chip run for whatever reason, especially in video form. But without further ado, as we get our support points here, and our Mayano Top Gun is definitely going to hit level 35. Yeah, Mayano Top Gun being at level 45 as well would also help out, but that's a lot of resources that I don't have. So, without further ado, again, if you have anything to say, feel free to drop a comment, question, criticism, speak, and I'll usually try to respond if there's something to, something to talk, debate, have fun with. Otherwise, I mean, if you want to support me, that's cool. If you don't want to support me, that's cool too. But I will do my best to grab another copy of Kita-san Black, because I think I've spent, I'm plus 300 scouts at this point. So yeah, without further ado, I'm not going to take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching. Bye!